Hey guys, welcome back. So I know you probably saw in one of my last videos, I think it was my 8K giveaway video, which is now closed, just so you know. I had this Gelish Xpress dip powder. So here is what this dip powder claims to do. It claims that it's already activated, so you do not require activator for this product, only dip base and then whatever top coat you want. So I thought it was interesting and I really wanted to try it out to see if it would work. So here's a swatch that I did. I did not use any activator and I put on a gel top coat. I did not, however, file or buff the swatch because I normally don't, so I didn't. But we're gonna see if that has any effect on this, how this applies, how it looks on the nail, and we're gonna figure out what this stuff is all about because I am a skeptic. I don't know how this is gonna, you know what my number one question was? My number one question was if this is already activated, because it does say on the instructions that you need to use a dip top coat on top of it, or it says you should at least. So I'm like, if there's no activator, how does that cure the dip top coat? So we're gonna find out. I am giving this, you know, the good old shake and a stir and all that stuff to get it all mixed up. And we're gonna start getting this on my nails. I am using the Tomicca dip liquids. This is not from the Tomicca kit that I got. This is a different kit that just came with these two liquids from Amazon. One is the base / top and the other is the activator. Since I know how these perform, I figured it might be good to try, you know, this base and top with this dip powder, and we're gonna see how this all shakes out. If you have tried this before, or if you've heard of it, comment down below and let me know. And let me know what kind of experience you've had with it. From what I mentioned, I think in that last video, you guys didn't really have many comments about it, so I'm wondering if you guys even have heard of it. I'm gonna let you watch just for a second, and I'm gonna go get some price points for you guys, and then I'll be right back. So I definitely have price points that I want to talk to you about, but first what I wanted to mention is, I don't know if you could see it as well as I could when my nails were in front of my face, but I did attempt to clean up my cuticle area and my sidewall area with the orange wood stick like I normally do, and I had a feeling this was going to happen. I couldn't really do a whole lot of cleanup immediately, and I went in, you saw, this is real time right now, I went to go clean up and everything was already cured. So it seems that it is activated and it does I don't know, cure. And that might be great, except for the fact that you can't do cleanup very efficiently with this stuff. And if it dries that fast to the point where I couldn't even clean up right after I dipped, I'd have to imagine this is probably not going to be great for doing like an ombre design, especially if you're doing like a scrub ombre. May not be great for like a French manicure or anything that's going to require a slow dry time. I realize the base has more to do with that than anything else, but if this powder cures that fast, and especially if you're a beginner, this may not be the best option for you, just because it does dry super quick to the point where you can't even like clean up around your cuticle area. It was crazy. I couldn't believe it dried that fast, but it did dry and it was super hard. Price points. I got this from beyondpolish.com. If you guys saw my mystery box unboxing or whatever, I will leave that in the link above if you haven't seen that. But Beyond Polish is a website and they have a menagerie of nail products to choose from, and they offer these mystery boxes. But I got this just by itself because I think I got an email and they were talking about it in this email, because of course, you know, you sign up for something and then you get emails like every 5 minutes. So I'm like, that's interesting. And it's $19.50 for a 1.5 ounce jar of this dip powder, which, if you guys don't know by now, you know that I'm not really the biggest fan of a large jar of powder, especially for a price point like that, even though it's reasonable, because it really is, you know, as far as competition companies go. And like, I think a 2 ounce jar from Cara Sky is like $24.99, and this is a 1.5 ounce for $20. So I guess it's kind of like in the market realm, but I'm not going to use all this dip powder. I'll probably wind up giving a little bit of it away at some point. I'll put it in a giveaway somewhere if you want it. I don't know if I would use it again. To be perfectly honest, the color was nice. It was a little bit on the sheer side for me personally, but it wasn't bad. I don't hate it. Let me know what your thoughts are right now, and if you are kind of feeling this, because I mean, you guys know I'm not a nail tech, I'm not a professional, and I this is just my opinion. So you may completely disagree with me, and you know what? That's fine. If you don't know who I am, hi there, hello. I am Marlakris, and I do all sorts of weird nail shenanigans, usually on myself, sometimes involving my husband, my kids, perfectly good strangers. But in any event, I do stuff to try to help you guys out and show you what I learn along my little nail journey. If you're into nail stuff, or if you've recently become a DIYer, which I know a lot of you guys have, feel free to subscribe. That way you won't miss anything. And if you like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. That actually helps me out a lot with like the YouTube algorithm stuff. So I would really appreciate that. Moving on. So clear. I only got this one color. I didn't get a clear. To be perfectly honest, I'm not even sure if they make a clear in this series, but because I didn't have a pre-activated clear, I decided not to clear cat, and I was going to do just one extra dip of the color, and that might be good enough. We'll find out. So I'm going to go ahead and get on my third coat of dip, and then I'll be right back. I wanted to also point out, I don't know if you guys will notice it as much as I did, but this is kind of grainy. As far as like dip powder formulas go, and this is not even counting the fact that it's an Express, I have air quotes, you can't see them, but I do, Express formula, so it's pre-activated. I don't know if it has anything to do with that, but the powder just, I didn't like the texture of it. If you haven't heard me say this a million times, I'm going to say it again. Panda dips, their consistency is absolutely incredible. It's so soft and buttery, and it just feels good. And this stuff was definitely grainy, and it felt, if I'm just being totally honest, it felt cheap. And that's weird to say about a company, especially like Gelish, which is a huge company. And I've never used other Gelish dip powders before, only this one. So I can't speak for the whole Gelish company as a whole, but this one didn't really care for it. If you have used Gelish products, let me know down below and let me know what you think of them. I may give them a try, you know, not this one again, but their regular dip powder, I may try them out. So let me know. So here's what I'm going to do. As you guys see, I did not activate whatsoever, and we're going to see how these file. I don't know if I've showed you if I've showed you guys this before, but this is how I prime a file. If you get a brand new file, it's probably going to be super sharp. If you go right in, you're going to cut yourself. So I take another file and I just dull the edges. That way I don't cut myself, especially between, you know, your sidewall and your nail, that little sensitive valley right there. If you guys have cut yourself or have been cut with a file there before, you know the pain I'm talking about. It is not fun. So prime my file, I'm gonna go in, start filing, and as you're gonna see, everything files beautifully. No complaints. I didn't like the color a lot. It was okay, and on camera it looks fine. In person though, like up close, super grainy, still like kind of, I don't know, sheer. I just wasn't a big fan. If it were more opaque, I probably would have loved it, but it wasn't, so I don't. I'm gonna go ahead and keep filing. I'm gonna bust out my e-file, I think, here in a minute, and I will be right back. So as you guys can see, this is filing up just beautifully. I have zero complaints about the way this cured and the way it filed and, you know, all that fun stuff. It didn't seem to have any areas of anything wet or, you know, like you'll see here when I e-file in a minute. If you've ever had an experience with dip powder where you went to go e-file or even hand file the top like surface of your nail and you've had product kind of like chunk off and fly off, that's a sign that it's not fully cured. But as you can see, this is filing up beautifully. Everything seemed 100% cured, so no issue there. So you know what, maybe it's just a personal thing on my end, just the way the texture was and the color of it that I wasn't crazy about. So it could just be that it seems to do what it claims to do. They were a little bit bendy, so I wasn't too happy about that, but I know that pigmented powders are always going to be less strong than clear acrylic, mostly because pigment does compromise the strength of the clear acrylic. So I'm not surprised that it didn't have as much strength as I wanted it to. If they have clear, I don't know if they do, but that might be another good option to do a clear coat on top of this, just for a little added strength. I'm going to continue e-filing here in a minute, and then we're going to get into some interesting stuff with top coat. My number one concern is going to be addressed. So stick around, don't go anywhere, and I'll be right back. I realize I sped through that filing at a ridiculous speed. If you want a good in-depth filing video to check out, if you are new to the e-file or just want to see some stuff on it, I'll leave my in-depth e-filing video up here in the cards, so you can go check that out if you'd like. This is what the nails look like after they've been filed. They're, as you can see, they're pretty secure, but they're definitely got a little bit of bend to them, like I was saying. But my nails are on the shorter side anyway, so it's not like a huge concern. But if your nails have length to them, I wouldn't trust this, if I'm just being real. So I decided to get the dust off with a little bit of alcohol. And I don't know if that's where I screwed up too. I thought I was just cleaning my nails off, but I do cut this video off a little bit short because I got really frustrated and didn't want to film anymore, and you're going to see why. So I'm going to go in with my top coat, again, not using any activator. And it did take the top coat a good while to dry, or so I thought it was dry. I really believe that not using the activator, or at least cleaning the nails off with alcohol, was where I met my demise with this dip powder. And it does say clearly on the jar right here, follow with dip top coat, dip, top coat. Alrighty, I would have been happy to use my gel, but no, you told me to use dip, top coat, so that's what we're doing. So I'm gonna, true to form, do my normal dip, top coat routine, and I'm doing my first coat, and I'm gonna wipe my brush off and keep going. Now, here's the thing. I wasn't entirely sure if I was supposed to do one coat or two. I made the executive decision to do 2 coats of top coat because they did, on the first coat, look like they were a little bit crinkly, which is usually an indicator that the nail is ready for its second glossy coat. So that's what I'm gonna do. And you're gonna see this became a train wreck. So I'm going to give you the abridged version right now because, like I said, I do cut this video off. There was no finished photo to be seen because there wasn't one. So I put on my first layer of top coat. Everything looks fine. It looks like it's ready for its secondary coat. So I put the second coat on, and I literally waited, I want to say I waited a good 10 minutes. I kept just slightly touching the surface of my nail to see if the glue was dry. And it was just super tacky. And I'm like, I don't know what to do at this point. What do I do? So eventually I grabbed my paper towel over here with some acetone, thinking that might remedy the situation. It would melt the top coat and I would just go over it with, you know, a gel top coat. But that didn't really work. Instead, my paper towel and the dip top coat over this, you know, Express mani didn't really get along very well, or got along too well, and my paper towel decided to stick to the finished mani. So that's where we're gonna end off. Final thoughts. Not for me. I wouldn't use this again. Just a personal thing, especially if you're just starting out or, you know, just still learning how to do your nails. I would not advise. If you want to play around with it, I'd say it would make for a good experiment with different, you know, techniques and different products, but yeah, not for me. I hope you guys found this somewhat useful. I know there were a bunch of you excited to see it. I hope I didn't disappoint. Stay tuned for my next upload. I promise it'll be exponentially better. I will see you guys in my next vid. Love you, bye.